We've got a lawyer in our midst this afternoon. Yes, she is a private legal practitioner. We were talking about this earlier, that, she goes to court every time.
Yeah.
And she's doing the job. And so today she's joined us to help us understand this. And she goes by the name Serwaah Mensah, Serwaah Safo Mensah. And she is our guest this afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, this one. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you, Nana.
It's good to have a counselor in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm highly honored.
Yeah, counsel, not defend. So, generally, we want to understand some of these things. And for me, I've been trying to understand what intellectual property is and copyright. I know that is actually the Ghana Copyright Office. I've been kind of following what they've been doing. But you go to court every time. You're a practitioner. You've studied it.
Yeah.
Let us understand what intellectual property is and also copyright, if they're the same thing or they are different things. Let's begin from there.
Thanks once again for having me in your studio. So, many a times people confuse intellectual property with copyright and other rights. And intellectual property, in simple terms, is the mother, and then other rights such as copyright, patent, trademark, industrial designs, among others. It's the subsidiary of it. So the right that covers all of them is the intellectual property. Okay. And it is just the right that is accorded or protection, right and protection that is given to a creator or an author in respect to his or her work. Okay. So those are just rights enjoyed by such individuals.
By the creator.
By the creator of it. And under the intellectual property, so I would restrict myself to Ghana because that is what we are going to discuss today.
Yeah.
So under the intellectual property, the intellectual property laws that govern rights and protection in Ghana are copyright, the copyright law, the trademark law, the patent law, the industrial designs law, and then there's a fair wages. Yes, among others. I don't remember that. So yes, so that is basically intellectual property.
And since you said we would just limit ourselves to Ghana, so it means every country have their music copyright law. Every country, like let's say if you go to the US, they have theirs. Okay.
Yes. So copyright is not a worldwide something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Copyright is territorial.
Okay.
So copyright laws just governs each country or jurisdiction has
their own copyright law.
Exactly. So the copyright law in Ghana cannot
be applicable to the one in the US.
Exactly, or any other state.
I just wanted to know that.
Okay, so there's not a general one like...
No.
No, it's not international.
No,
there's nothing like
the
international copyright law.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So now, as we are zeroing in on Ghana, if you can take us through what the law in Ghana says about copyright, and then we'll continue from there.
Okay, thanks for the question. So copyright, as I have explained earlier, is just in simple terms, the right and protection granted an author or creator in relation to his or her work.
Okay.
And the work must be artistic and literary. It has to be original and independent. So then, and it has to be published as well.
Okay.
So one cannot say that, one cannot be in his room or in his office or anywhere and say that I have composed or a song. And then, so the next day he or she hears someone playing it outside and he's like, or she's like, that is my song, I did it first. No. There's a key word that comes out. It's published. You must have published it. That is what the law, in terms of enforcement.
Okay.
The question would be that for you to be able to claim a right to a song, you must have published it. That is one. Two, it has to be original, also in character. And then, independent. You did it on your own. You didn't seek the help of others. You have to be able to claim ownership to it. So
what does the publishing entail? What is publishing? Is it not, I've done my song, I put it out, everybody knows that it's mine?
Yes, that's it. So publish means you releasing it. It has to be, we have to know. Ghana has to know. The world wherever you are has to know. So that's the publicity about it.
Okay, so that's when you say that you've published it and that...
Yes, we should have heard, someone must have heard you, heard it from you first. That, yes, you are the one who brought it out.
Okay.
So for example, when musicians release their songs, it's publicity. So that is even the essence of making your song, is it worldwide or nationwide?
Worldwide.
Exactly. It is automatic. It gains you automatic rights over that song.
Okay.
Once you publish it. And let me use this opportunity to even go into the registration bit of it.
Okay. Yeah,
so many a times, some of the questions that people ask.
Let's zoom on them. Just music.
Okay.
Let's look at the music copyright laws in Ghana. Let's look, because from the explanation, it could be a book, it could be a movie.
Yes.
So if we could just hammer on the music copyright law for now, it will make it very easier for us to understand. So take us through that one.
Okay, so there's nothing like music copyright law.
Okay.
Music falls under copyright law.
Okay.
So whatever we're going to talk about is in relation to music as well.
Okay.
But for people not to be confused, I would not be using the word music copyright law, because there's nothing like that.
Okay.
So then let's begin. Someone seeks your service and says that I've released this song, but this person has also released this one and it sounds similar like mine. What would you do at that point? How would you start the process of trying to, defend your client from that angle?
Okay. So we would first have to check who released it first.
Okay.
Because once you release the first, it will entitle, it's automatic entitlement to the song. So we'd first have to check it if you first released it. And it has to also people must have heard it that you released it for you to claim ownership to that song.
Okay. So that's just how you begin. That you know that my clients.
You ought not to have registered the song.
Okay.
But so, like I said earlier, once you publish it, it's automatic registration. You see, and yes. So
that's basically it. So let's look at the letter that we had from the Cavemen and Santrofi. Now, you've listened to both songs. The case here when it comes to intellectual property theft is it sounds the same. The melodies are the same. And so you have the letter on your screen right now.
Yes.
They sound the same. The melodies are the same. That's of the trumpet melody. Like everything just sounds the same like that. And Santrofi released theirs earlier before the Cavemen. Do you have an idea of what the sampling bits should be like? Let's say you can sample 40%, 50% of it, because sampling is allowed in music, but it's not supposed to be cleaned by the second person as if it is. So if you want to do a song from Ofori and Mensah, you'd seek clearance from Ofori and Mensah that, okay, I want to use this part of your song, I want to use this. If you look at the letter written to Santrofi from the Cavemen, what do you make of that?
So clearly, some portions of the letter state that there are words and so let me use the words. The word words that are similar or runs through every high life music, such that if A uses, so let's use the word or sound O.
Okay.
U, E. Another person, so that sound O, U, E. Another musician can also use that sound O, U, E.
Okay.
Copyright is such that whatever music, I'll narrow it down to music, you bring out must be original.
Okay.
So the question that we would ask ourselves is that the second song, one released it first before the other. One published it first before the other. Was the first song original,
Okay.
would you find some of the melodies? I'll deal with the first song first because I don't know if they might have also infringed on other persons or people's rights or.
Okay.
So the melodies and the sounds or the ue in that song, can they be found in other people's song? That is one. If they can be found in that, then it doesn't make it original because original has to be something that someone has not done before.
Okay.
We all know that in music there are tunes. There's the B flat, L, F flat, and all that. But
Those are
it
the
depends
keys.
on so there are keys, and we all know there are instruments that are all the instruments that are used in music are. With the organ, you have the drums,
Yeah, the
the
lead
bass,
guitar,
and
all
all
of
those
those things,
things.
yeah.
Yes. So it is about how you use the instruments to compose or compile your songs
Okay.
or your tunes. That is what is going to give your song an originality. So once what you have published is not original, that means you can find it in other people's song. You have infringed on that person's copyright.
Okay.
And so once you even know you're going to do that, you should seek permission from
Permission
that
first.
person. Yes. And once you also do it, you have to acknowledge, after the permission, you have to also acknowledge the person.
Okay. So you need to seek permission from
Yeah.
The owner.
the owner
The
of
owner
the
of the
song.
song, yes.
But in this case, the caveman from the letter clearly stating that we did not steal.
They didn't. Yeah, they said they didn't steal.
it's-
They are trying to say the melodies and the keys are like
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
So and it's from the same root high life, so we can all use the same key.
Can we not have a situation where it's creativity?
Good.
Yes.
What you did, I was also in my room somewhere drinking some coffee, and I wrote the same thing, and it sounded similar like yours. Can there be a situation like that?
Did you publish it first? We can all be in our rooms and write a poem. Sometimes we think alike. There's a saying that goes, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
You may be thinking of maybe drawing a Ghana, a Metro TV map in your room. At the same time, I might also be thinking about the same thing in my room. The point is, once you bring yours out first, it belongs to you.
Okay. That's because this whole publishing came in Ed Sheeran's issue,
Yeah.
Shape of You,
Yeah.
and Sammy Chokri's OY. So according to Sammy, he said his was out first in 2015. It was OI. OI. It was OI. And then Sharon's own was in 2017, which was OY. See, it sounds similar.
Yeah.
Similar.
Good. So, so in this situation, Sammy was claiming that because he published his first in 2015, Ed Sheeran stole it, as in stole the same sentence, or OY. In that situation, I think he should have won the case, but then it changed.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran won
Won,
the
yeah.
case.
The case, yeah.
And, Ed Sheeran all along was saying that it is creativity.
Yes, he was arguing his point on creativity.
Yeah, on the part that it's creativity and no word really or melody really is for a particular
For a
person.
particular person.
Understand? So as you say, O-I. Then in his song, Shape of You, O-I.
This one too is
So
O-I.
it's on that basis that he took that to court.
Yeah.
That this is the situation and he has infringed on my intellectual property, or copyrights. But when they went to court, Eshron was the one who won the
won
case.
the case,
Yes.
okay.
So I really want to, or we still want to understand how
Irrespective of publishing it first.
at first, how much can you take of can there ever be a way you can take someone's intellectual property?
You have to ask the person first.
When you ask and permission is given to you,
Yes.
that
Or the person can even give you a it's a temporary ownership to it,
Okay.
to own it or use it or reproduce it within. So that's an economic right.
Okay.
So there are two forms of copyright in Ghana. I'll comment on Ed Sheeran's
Okay.
own after. So once the person gives you that right, so that's asking for the permission or ask to use the song within maybe a stipulated time. So once that person grants you the right to use it, and it's like I said, it's called economic rights. You can reproduce the song and use it in another way within that period that the person has given you. When the period expires or elapses, the ownership would revert.
Oh, so there's a duration for copyrights, like a duration.
Yes, there's actually a
duration.
yes, it's a
for
lifetime.
copyrights. Oh, okay.
So yes, so in Ghana, I'll limit myself to Ghana laws because copyright is territorial.
Yes.
It's regulates
Per the jurisdiction.
your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yes. So according to the Copyright Law, Act 2005, once you publish a work, you have a lifetime ownership to that work.
Okay.
So once you die, you have another 70-year ownership, 70 years ownership to that work.
Okay.
So that's the duration. It's not for forever. And so once you, and then when you give someone the opportunity to use your copyright, you can also limit that person's rights to use it
Okay.
within that period that you have given it to the person. And if you die after or before the right expires, the person would have the option to use it within that additional 70 years period that is given to such rights.
Okay. So what if you say I can't find the owner of this copyright song?
Yeah.
What if the person says, "Oh, I can't find the owner of this copyright. Can I go ahead and do
And
the
use
copy
it.
without the permission?"
Okay. So the person has family.
Okay.
I'm sure when the person released it, he or she had a management. There's nothing like you cannot find.
Okay.
Once the song comes out, there was a composer, there's a manager, there's a manager, there's a whole team.
Yeah.
So you find that one of, I don't remember the name of the musician, that a couple of them, think when they died and one of these musicians used their song, their children came out that they have used their song without seeking permission. Their dad's song without seeking permission. The
from
name
them.
does not readily come to mind, but they had used it without, and they had the right to do it because once the person is dead, it does not put an end to the rights that the person had until the expiration of 70 years after the death of the person. So whoever his assigns or whoever directly has interest in the person can sue to protect that right of that person.
Well, if you just tuned in, you're watching an Entertainment Review here on Metro Television, and today we're having a discussion about copyright and also intellectual property. And our guest here is Serwaah Mensah. She is Safo Mensah, yes, SSM.
Or SMS.
SMA.
SMS.
Yes.
Serwaah
Serwaah
Mensah
Mensah Safo. Or Safo Mensah Safo. So when you turn it around, so if you are mentioning from my surname, Safo Mensah, so it will be Safo Mensah Safo.
SMS.
So
Like the SMS
an
bit.
SME.
I support
SMS
Shatamani.
maybe.
Are you a Shatamani?
SM, no, that's SM fan. Mine
Yeah,
is
so-
SMS.
no, so I am
I'm an
asking-
SMS fan. That is not to say I don't love his music. I'm a fan.
Okay. So she's here. She's a private legal practitioner and helping us understand some of these things. We've talked about how artists can own their works. One of the things that I think that Ghanaian artists most do not do, as you mentioned, is to put everything together. That this is the executive director or the executive producer. This is the composer. This is the sound engineer. This is the one. So that it is documented, well documented and registered, so that when someone is going to use that, there is documentation to show that this is yours first before every other
Yes.
thing. The one about making the world hear, isn't that too? I can release a song in the northern part of the country,
Yes.
people must have heard the song there.
Yes, once it has to come. Publicity is you playing it over the airwaves, so TV, radio. You must have played it somewhere. Don't play it in your room. That's the difference between publicity. Once you play it in your room, you're the only one who has heard it too. But once you that's why people go for album listening and those things. Someone must have heard it from you.
Okay.
Or people release their songs. They do launch and all that.
Yeah.
It's publicity. It's publicity. Once you publish it, it's automatic. You gain the automatic copyright to it. Another thing that I have to mention is that you cannot also stop someone from not using it. The person can use it, but once, because we are here. So let's say you have a song. For example, Caveman and then Santrofi. Santrofi has played it. And Caveman has come out with a song that is way similar. When I heard the two songs, in fact, when I heard the second one playing, which was Caveman, I thought I was still listening to
the first one.
Exactly. So that one, it's without say. Once you hear both songs, something should tell you that no, this one, one has copied the other. So you have to determine who brought it out first.
Okay.
And then, yes. So the musicians ought to also do a duty, or they owe themselves a duty to monitor and protect their songs.
We'll continue with that, and then we'll use the case study of Sikafi and Sikakankan.
Yeah.
That was Kofi Darlington and Icon. Someone played it in the studio. The other one also did it somewhere. And you hear one being a dancer one, the other being a hip hop one. But we're taking a break now. When we come back, we continue with our conversation right here on Entertainment Review. Do stay. Okay, welcome back. This is Entertainment Review on Metro Television. My name is Desifade in the Stand when I'm here with Nanaya Tanobuachi and also SMS, Serwaah Mensah Safo. Yeah, she's a private legal practitioner, and we're talking about copyright and intellectual property stuff. I'm using the case studies. This is like when you're writing your final paper, what's it called? Your defense, and you're using a case study. You're using Santrofi-Cavemen and the Cavemen as the case study for our conversation this afternoon. So before we went on the break, you were talking about artists protecting their works. You can continue with that point.
So one thing I don't see or hear artists suing in Ghana, suing people here left, right, center for the use of their work. Now, you have to be your own keeper,
okay,
or watchdog of your work. So you have to monitor your work such that someone does not infringe on your right. So you have to watch your right and protect it so that someone does not infringe on it. Once it is you see or you hear that someone has infringed upon that right, that person. So for example, Santrofi and Caveman, I sitting here would say that whoever released it first, which I know Santrofi did first, their right has been infringed upon, so they have the right to sue, depending on where they released it. If they released it in Ghana or have registered it in Ghana, the copyright law in Ghana would protect them. But if they did it somewhere, they have to go sue within that jurisdiction.
So if you were their lawyer, you would say that we're suing them.
Oh,
Protect you. Yes. But yes, so the client has to give me the instruction to do it. But my advice would have been yes.
To sue them.
Yes, you have to get a remedy for such an action. So you see, once it's done, they have remedies. Yes, the musicians and anyone who seeks to protect his or her rights under the copyright law has remedies under the law. And it will interest you to know that if your right is infringed upon, it's a criminal offense.
It's a criminal offense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have a remedy under criminal law and then civil as well. You can claim compensation to which the Act provides for all these things.
As you're talking, I hear you talk about register.
Okay.
Registered your song. Now, in this day of social media, people just get, and that's why I've kept on asking, is it really about who released first? Because you can release it in your room somewhere, but it is not recognized in the books that it is yours. Please, you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I get
so, you're just in the studio somewhere, or you're in the studio, you do some ping, 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 it's nice. Then you take a video of yourself, you put it out like someone did, and the next moment you put the official audio, like it's a free stuff thing.
Yes.
So it's like on social media, just like that.
Yes.
But someone takes the pain to register that, go to the proper agency or wherever to register the song. Amongst these two, whose work will be recognized?
Is the one who published it
The
first.
one who published it first.
Yes. In the media, not in your room. If you release it in your room, there's no way I will hear it. But you said if you stay in your room, you video yourself playing it,
Okay.
and you post it.
Okay.
It has gone through a device for the world or another person to hear it. So there's a date. Once you post it on social media, there's a date to it.
There's a date to it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we'll be able to tell if you were the one who published it first or not. So you don't have to release it in your room and play it within your room. No. Let it out. Let someone hear about it. And so I mentioned even several forms of it. People release their songs by launching, by playing it on social media. Is it SoundCloud, Boomplay, Apple Music? Some even publish it go to an extent of, after releasing it to the world or to Ghana, they get these newspaper or media agencies to publish it as well.
Okay.
But the key thing is publicity.
The publicity.
It must have been out there.
Okay.
For me, for you, or someone to have heard it. Once it's out there, obviously someone would have heard it for you to be able to claim ownership. So, and so under the copyright laws of Ghana, once it is published, it's automatic. You gain an automatic right. You need not register it. However, some jurisdictions, the laws in some jurisdictions will or may demand that you ought to have registered that your song. And that is how come, I don't know where Ed Sheeran, he sued. Yes, he sued in the UK. I'm not familiar with the laws over there, but and I'm not familiar with the case too, the full case too, so I'm unable to fully comment on it. But a lot must have gone on for him to have won the case.
The case.
Exactly.
I mean, today the conversation has been IP, the intellectual property. We've hammered on the copyrights. I want to you've told us how important is it. Now, let's talk about the types, which you mentioned earlier on.
Yes.
That's the copyright is part. There's the patents, there's the trademark, and there's the trade secret. These are all types.
Yeah.
If you could take it one by one, just like you've explained the copyright, how it goes, like the registration, the understanding will be so cool. So let's take it like the patent. How is it supposed to? What is it? A trademark. What is it? A trade secret. What is it? One after the other.
Okay. So trademark deals with basically names or
your brand.
For example, yes, a brand name.
Okay.
So with where copyrights, for example, with music, it deals with your sound and those things.
Okay.
With trademark, so for example, Ghana Festival. You can register Ghana Festival as a trademark such that no one can use it. So that's the difference. Or is it a formula? So something that can be written, or even a design, a logo. So yes.
To identify you from the other.
Yes, so that no one can use your logo. So those are some of the things that are registered as trademarks. Yes, it has to be visible.
Okay.
That no one can use it. So, for example, what is in your your shirt.
Yeah, I was going to use Afrochella. So let's say there's a brand called
Yes.
Afrochella. There's someone who goes to do Afrochel.
You have to register it as a trademark.
Okay.
Other
So-
than that,
so-
you stand a chance of other people copying it. Once copying it as well. So once the person uses it, you can't really go and fight the person off. Unlike copyrights, where once you release your original work, it's automatic. It gains you that automatic copyright status or protection under the Act. With trademark, you ought to have registered that symbol. You ought to have registered that
So what
name.
about the trade secrets?
No, that's trademark.
That's trademark.
Yes.
And there's trade secrets.
No, trademark. Trade secrets is something that happens between in contracts or
Okay.
with
So
work.
it's all part of the intellectual property.
Property bit.
Yes, they are under intellectual. So intellectual property is just a right that you gain when you bring out a work,
Awake.
an
Okay.
original work.
I know if you watch comedy, you know we talked about Mr. Funny, that is Sabinus, a couple of weeks back. He was trending on Twitter. Now, he sued some companies in Nigeria. He has this term that he uses, huge. Then he has some sign that he does this. And a company put out a product, and there was a sign like this on it. Then he sued the company.
Okay.
Now, people on social media were saying that, but this is everywhere. Huge is a word. It's a word. It's everywhere. So how do you claim ownership about it? Well, there was one that was so obvious. He's got quite a big belly and some hair. So for that one that was used for that particular product, you could see that, no, this is clearly a brand as Sabinus who is on that particular product. But for the other ones that are not too, you cannot really say that you cannot attribute it to this particular person. Let's say huge or a particular term, and another brand uses it. Can you really say that it is yours, or you need to go and register that, or because you started using it, people know that it is yours?
The thin line is registration. You can't claim ownership to a sign or a variable without you registering under trademark.
Okay.
So under trademark.
Okay.
So unlike copyright, where once you publish it, it's automatic. You gain automatic rights over it. With trademark, you ought to have registered it to claim ownership of it.
Okay.
So once you have not registered it, and although you brought it out first, we don't know. So trademark, unlike copyright, is an international something.
Okay.
Because of the marks and the signs and the logos that are involved, that one can use it somewhere and then it would internationally it spreads. With trademark, once you register it, it's worldwide, it's international. When or if someone uses it somewhere, you can sue the person for using that work. So you cannot claim ownership without registration. You have to prove. So registration under trademark is proof of ownership.
Proof of ownership. Okay.
Okay. I want to come in with the songwriting.
Yeah.
Would you, if, let's say, if a musician often co-writes with another artist,
Yes.
whose IP is it? Is it for both of them or is for one?
Okay. So the ownership comes in several forms.
Okay.
There's an individual ownership, there's group ownership, there's authorship or creativity comes in several forms. So there's an individual, there's co-authorship, there's joint as well. So it depends on the agreements between the two.
Okay.
So if it is the two parties or a group that came together to do it, then ownership belongs to that duo or team.
Okay.
However, if you hire someone to help you with your work, you have to make sure after that you claim that ownership of the work.
There has to be an agreement.
Yes. So with the co-ownership and the joint author, co-joint and all that, it has to be between
You
the
and
both
the
of you.
right one.
Exactly. Because before someone will come on board to do something for you, you must it's an understanding.
Yeah.
You must, the person must understand that you are just helping me to get to the top, to ride it. That's it. But once the understanding is that it belongs to the both of us, me just helping you to write it does not mean I am a co-author or I'm a joint author. So it depends on it. But once the agreement or the understanding is that we are doing it together, so we co-own it or we jointly own it, then it has to be registered. There has to be an agreement that has to show.
Okay.
And that's one of the issues that have come up lately. Producers and artists, they don't put things down. It's always, Charlie, make you do Gimbo, make you do. I'll blow. If I blow, I'll give you this percentage. And then in the end, we have issues happening with them. How serious should every member of the creative arts industry take this, from songwriters to producers to the artists themselves to video director to all of those things? In your conversation, in your dealings with, do you see that, okay, people from the creative arts space do come around and try to, protect their works?
Okay, so with respect to the terms of an engagement and all that, I would advise that wherever you go, whatever you do with any person, it has to be expressly stated. There has to be an express understanding between the both of you. Reduce it into writing that I want you to do this for me, or I want both of us to do something together to achieve this purpose. Other than that, relationships break in the course of the way. If at a point in time someone does not understand something, there's a fight and you find one pulling the other here and there. But once there were clear terms, once a relationship breaks or there's an issue, this was the agreement or the understanding before we moved. And so this is the remedy to it. Other than that, that is how come some people find themselves wanting when it comes to claiming. So, for example, if someone helped someone to write a song, after that, the person who helped the author would come and claim ownership over that song. Meanwhile, it was just the person's help was just sought in the course of the way in writing that song.
Okay, so there's a group we all love, Wuta. They came together, put together some nice bangers for us. We enjoyed that, and now they split again, and they are going back and forth as to who owns the rights to. So the record label has their bits in there, and the artists themselves, the two of them, have their bits in there. So in this case, if there's no right in contractual terms, what happens to it?
Yes, so it will be difficult.
So nobody can claim ownership over their works.
So there's documented evidence, there's oral evidence as well, which are all admitted in court. Once you are able to prove that you were a co-author or owner, so prove means. So for example, someone must have seen you write the songs.
But I write the song, still both of us can say that I was the one who wrote the most, or the oral agreement was that I would take the bigger share.
Yeah.
Any one of them can say.
No, so with respect of shares, yes, it must have been reduced to writing. Or there should have been witnesses who heard or knew whatever was going on between the parties. So when it wasn't, so in the situation or event that it wasn't reduced to writing, then you can seek witnesses. So the people who were around that heard or saw what was going on can be witnesses for you in respect to.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we are wrapping up on this, and so you are saying that you would have, as if you were counsel for Santrofi, you'd say that, let's sue them.
Oh yes. You have to protect. I would have said yes. Protect us. Protect your rights.
Okay.
From it being infringed.
So would you have called for acknowledgement from them that it is yours, or this it will go into, you've had proceeds from it, so give us our share?
Because they would have to pay for using it. No, so no one will give you unless of course the person is doing you a favor.
Okay.
I went into the pains of writing my song. I paid for. I spent on it. It is my work. So if you want to use it, you have to pay for it. Or unless, like I said, I want to do you a favor, using it for free. So in this terms, some of the remedies available for, for example, if Santrofi should win the case, can claim compensation.
Okay.
The court can also stop the caveman, whoever published it first, from further going ahead to use.
Okay. What would be your general advice to, people in the creative art space? Because the creativity bit is still a problem in that we are all creative. We all may think alike to a certain thing. To every other person, stakeholder in the creative arts industry, what would be your advice to them when it comes to IP and also copyright?
My little advice I would give them would be that own your work and protect your work by monitoring it. If you find that someone has infringed upon your rights, seek redress. Seek the remedy available to you under the law within or the laws within the jurisdiction you find yourself. Another advice I would also give them is that the law says that once, in respect of copyright, once you publish it, it's automatic, you gain automatic rights to it. But I'll go further in advising musicians to also register it because it helps you, importance of registration. It helps you to keep records of your song. It authenticates the ownership of your song, such that it's an evidence. You pull it. So for instance, Santrofi, if they had registered or they have registered their song, they can just pull the registration documentation and show to the court, this is it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Your favorite artist?
I don't have one.
You don't have a favorite artist?
No,
so who do you listen to on your phone?
I love everyone. So it depends on my mood.
So my people say Shatawale. Since we are SM, we'll just take you to
Shatawale.
SM. Yeah, Shatawale. All right, thank you so much. SMS Serwaah Mafo Serwaah Mensah.
Serwaah Safo Mensah.
Serwaah Safo Mensah.
SMS
for short. Thank you so much.
That's a trademark name.
Okay. So there's a video that Star Wars a trademark, please. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Desmond Okekuda. So you can call me That's a Fade in the Star. But I was here with which one is yours?
Oh, Nanaya not watching.
That's NYTB. That's a trademark. Thank you guys so much. Have yourselves a great weekend. We're back Monday, same time, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Kudos to the production team.